Day 310 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again another day, another LeetCode problem where we're doing daily LeetCode problems. And today we have question number 179, largest number. The difficulty level is medium, but don't worry because we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as possible, y'all. But before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go in and check out that link in the description so you can get you some. Now let's see what the question says. Question says, given the list of non-negative integers nums, arrange them such that they form the largest number and return it. Since the result may be very large, so you need to return a string you need to return a string instead of an integer. Okay, y'all, so it sounds simple enough, but let's go ahead and take a look at these examples so we can make sure that we are doing this problem correctly. So in example 1, we have the input nums equals an array of integers 10 and 2. The output is 210, right? So what they did was they took this 2, put it in front of the 10, and concatenated it, right? Because it says arrange them the numbers such that they form the largest number and return it. So if we didn't move the 2, it'd be 102. But if we do move the 2, we could get all the way up to 210, and that's the largest number that we can create from these two numbers, right? If we just add them or concatenate them together. Not necessarily add them together, but concatenate them together. And we combine them together and we get 210, right? So sounds simple enough, but let's go ahead and take a look at example 2 where it might be a little bit more tricky. There might be more numbers they give us, and it's going to be a little bit more thinking, or not really thinking. The computer's going to do the thinking, but it's going to be a little bit more arranging the numbers. So let's go and look at example 2. So example 2, we have the input nums equals an array of integers 3, 30, 34, 5, and 9. So we have to arrange these numbers so that when we concatenate them, it becomes the largest number possible, right? So just going off top, we can see that 9 is the largest value here, right? Or out of the first value, largest value in the ones place or the singles place, right? So right here would be 3. If we start the number with 3, that's not going to be as big as if we start with the number with 5. But if we start the number with 5, that's not going to be as big as if we start the number with 9, right? So we know that 9 should be the first number in order to create the largest number possible, right? Boom. So then, once again, we know that if we start with the number 3, that's not going to be as big as a number as if we start with the number 5. So now we know we could go 9, 5, and that's going to create the largest number possible so far. Boom. Then, now all these start with 3, so we have to move to the second digit or the tens place. So in the tens place, this has nothing, this has a 0, and this has a 4. We know if we start with a 0, that's going to be less than a 4. So we know that the 4 should come, or the 34 should come next after the 5. So boom, that's where this 34 comes from right here. Then the 3, we could kind of squeeze and finesse the 3 in there because there's nothing after the 3. So we could just put the 3 wherever. Boom. So if we put the 3 here, we know that'll make it bigger than if we put the 3 over here, right? That's the difference between 330 or 303. So we're going to put the 3 here because we know that's going to make it a bigger number. And then we could put the 30 last. And then this final string, what is this? 9,534,330 is the largest number that we can create possible, y'all. So that's what we're trying to do. It's not that difficult, and trust me, the solution is way easier to understand than the question, even though the question is pretty easy to understand as well. So let's get into the fun part, the actual solution. Now, the first thing we need to do is we need to convert each integer in the array into a string. So that's simple enough. Excuse me, y'all. In order to do that, all we have to do is say var nums, set that equal to nums.map, open up the brackets, and we can say string, open up the parentheses, $0. Now, this $0 is going to represent each element in the array, right? So 10, 2, or each element in the array. So it's just going to turn this is going to turn each element in the array to a string. Boom. Now that we've done that, now we need to sort them, because remember, we want the largest number. So in order to do that, we're going to sort them by concatenation, right? So in order to do that, in order to sort them by the concatenation, we could do it like this. We're going to come right here. Boom. We're going to say nums dot sorted, or excuse me, not sorted, just sort. Nums dot sort. Open up the brackets. So we're going to say $0 plus 1. Excuse me, $0 plus $1 is greater than $1 plus $0. So what this is going to do is it's going to compare the concatenated values of the two numbers, right? So for example, it'd be, say this was, let's just say it was 9 plus 34. Boom. Or versus 34 plus 9, right? So come under here with the concatenation, it'd be 934 versus 34.9. And it's going to return whichever one is bigger. That's what this right here is going to do. It's going to return whichever concatenation is bigger. So boom, that's how we handle that right there. Boom. Now we have to see if the largest number after sorting is 0, and if it is, we could just return 0, and this will help us to avoid any leading 0. So we could just say if and parentheses nums square bracket 0 is equal to 0, then we could just say return 0. Boom. But now this is where we're going to return what we get from here, because otherwise we could just say, remember, we have to concatenate them and join them. So we come right here, we could just say, come underneath this, we could say return nums dot join, because remember they're strings, so we have to join them at the end, then put some parentheses like this. So let's go ahead and run it. Let's go ahead and run this. Let's see what happens. Can we get it first try? That's what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and submit it. Make sure it's still accepted after we submit it, because we all know how LeetCode can be. Not guaranteed. Ooh, 3 milliseconds beats 36.73% of users with Swift. We could definitely get those numbers up, but don't worry, we'll get those numbers up as we continue down our LeetCode journey. Right now, we just want to be able to solve the solution that's in front of us, and I feel like this is a good solution for that. Easy to understand, easy to remember, and easy to internalize. So that's why I went with this solution. But as we go down our LeetCode journey, we'll focus on other ways we can solve these problems and get the time complexity up. But for now, this is what we're working with. I hope y'all learned something today, and I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See y'all then.